book lovers, I'm Kiki and welcome back to my little corner on the internet. It is lovely to have you here. And this is going to be part 2 in me trying to finish the insane amount of series that I have on my TBR. I also just realized that I've put like a new series on there. That was ridiculous. Why did I do that? Anyway, it's gonna be the same as the last one. I'm gonna start a series, I'm gonna continue a series, and I'm gonna finish a series, or at least I'll try. And the first book I am going to be reading is going to be starting a series, which will be Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and this is actually on my April TBR, and I'm trying to get better again at actually finishing my monthly TBRs because I've not been doing that. So this just fits perfectly for this video, as well as just finishing my TBR, and I am so excited. I have kind of planned out the books that I want to be reading in this video. So, you know what, I'm just gonna show you, and we'll see if that actually ends up working out, because you never know. But to continue a series, I want to read The Throne of Fire by Rick Riordan, which is the second book in the Kane Chronicles trilogy, and I don't want to leave too much time in between reading these, so I can then also move on to the next series within the Camp Half-Blood world, and I'm just so excited to also learn more about their story and about the Egyptian pantheon, I guess. And then to finish a series, I want to finally pick up Her Radiant Curse by Elizabeth Lim, which I'm counting towards finishing a series because it's technically a prequel to the Six Crimson Crane duology, but it's like set in the same world. It's about one of the characters within that duology, so I'm counting it as finishing the series. And I cannot wait. I also love the covers of these books. They are gorgeous. So I am so excited, and I think I'm gonna start soon because I do have some time to read today. And I am going to start with, like I said, Children of Blood and Bone, and this actually terrifies me a little bit because this is not a small book. So, but yeah, I'm so excited. So I got a coffee and a book, and I am going to start reading this. I cannot tell you how excited I am to finally read this. Like, I don't really have any expectations for this book because I quite frankly don't even remember what it is about. But I have had this on my mental TBR for I don't even know how long, and on my physical TBR for 2-3 years? I can't even tell you. When did this even come out? That's actually a really good question. It came out in 2018. Damn! Okay, I didn't realize that it came out that long ago, but I am so excited for it. Let's take the dust jacket off. I don't want to read with it on, but also look at the naked hardcover. It is absolutely gorgeous. And then we've got the good old fantasy map. Always important, always appreciate it. And I love the way that this book is made. You know what? I'm gonna show ya. So we've got the map, which is gorgeous. And then as we turn the page, we have this. I don't know what any of this means yet, right? It's just, so nicely done. Look at this. I love art in books. It is, I love it. And then you get to the first chapter. So excited. today I have been reading and listening to Children of Blood and Bone, and I've also rearranged my shelves a little. I don't think you can actually see it because it's mostly to the sides, but I did do it. But I started the day with having read about 11% of this, and I am now like 2/3 through. And today in the morning, when I wanted to pick this up, I actually wasn't quite sure about it because I started reading it and I was interested, definitely. I just didn't really feel that connection to the book, really. But I decided to just pop in the audiobook while I was doing some stuff, and I ended up getting into the flow of it. And then I like picked up the book in between when I had a couple of minutes and just continued listening to it as I could. And I am slightly sad because I am like not loving it the way I thought that I might. I am still super interested in the world. I think it is so interesting with the different gods and the different Majins. I can never pronounce these words and it is so annoying, but all of the different characters, I am actually enjoying it, and I get the inkling of some romance, and if the two couples become couples that I think might become couples, it would actually be kind of funny. But yeah, this is also just massive. Like, the book is huge. I don't know, from what I've seen, each book in the trilogy gets shorter, and I feel like maybe it would have been nicer to sort of even it out a little more, because this is daunting. I have to be completely honest, this is daunting. And it's just, yeah. I don't know, I was thinking that maybe it wasn't the right time for me to read this today in the morning, and then I just sort of got into the flow and I continued it, and then suddenly I was halfway through and I was like, yeah, there's no point in putting it back on my physical TBR right now and like starting a different series. So I just continued with it. But yeah, I am enjoying myself. I'm just not loving it, and I find that kind of sad. Usually by this time in a book, I sort of know what I'm gonna rate it, but I have absolutely no clue. Something that I do really enjoy are the different points of views. I love a good book with like several points of views. So I do think that the magic in this book is really interesting. So yeah, we'll see what happens when I continue with this. But I think I might actually not continue with it today because I'm really tired and like I'm not taking in the story anymore. So I'm gonna pause this and probably continue it tomorrow, hopefully. But I do still have some time to read and I need a little bit of like downtime. So I think I'm gonna do something that I wasn't planning on doing, and that is starting the next book for this video now before finishing the first one. But like, this is one of those books that you can just read on the side, I feel. Sounds bad, but yeah, I feel like I can just read The Throne of Fire tonight, like start it, get like a couple of pages in. Don't really know how long it'll take, but like 50 to 100 pages probably, and then just actually be able to fall asleep. Hello! I thought I would give a little bit of an update because last night I ended up making it 68 pages into the Throne of Fire. I can't read. And look, like,
there's a little warning in the front, which basically says that this is a transcript of an audio recording that Carter and Sadie sent to Rick Riordan, which honestly, I thought that as a concept is super cute and I love it. But something about this book doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't necessarily sit completely right with me. I don't know what it is. So this is the third series that I'm reading by Rick Riordan. I read Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Heroes of Olympus, and now I'm reading the Kane Chronicles. And that is also the way that I would rate them right now in terms of favorites. I think individually I may have rated the Heroes of Olympus books higher than the Olympians books, but overall as a series I do prefer Percy Jackson and the Olympians. For this one, it's just, so far I have been, I don't know, I actually talked to a friend of mine about this the other day, and I think he said that this is his least favorite out of all of them. And he said that it is partially because Rick did not as good of a job with creating and explaining the world of Egyptian mythology. And I feel like that may be the case for me as well, that I'm just not connecting to it quite as much as I was connecting to the Greek and Roman gods and goddesses, because it's not, you know, partially I really like the fact that they were the parents of our, like, main characters, and here it's like, it's the blood of the pharaohs. Pharaoh? When English stops Englishing. Anyway, it's just like, it's not the same, and I feel like I miss that very, that essence that the Percy Jackson books had. But I am looking forward to continuing with it. I technically wanted to finish Children of Blood and Bone today, but my brain cannot handle that amount of just detail and world building and just intensity right now. So instead I am going to, I think, continue with The Throne of Fire today. Okay, so I just finished The Throne of Fire by Rick Riordan, and yeah, what can I say? It was okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. Pretty much like the first book. I am gonna stand by what I said. I just think the whole Egyptian mythology world building isn't done as well as it was done with the Greek and Roman world building, and something that annoyed me a lot in this book specifically was something that happened towards the middle-ish of the book, and it has to do with prioritizing certain things that need to be done. And yeah, I can't talk about it, but it's just, yeah, like if it had been done in Percy Jackson, I would have been all for it. But because there is a certain, like, there's a sibling relationship going on, right? And they are basically finding back to each other given that they were raised apart, which is not a spoiler. That is like right in the beginning of the first book. You learn that, so don't come at me. But it's like, yeah, I was still annoyed about it. Also, they're so young. I keep forgetting that. Like, Percy, Annabeth, all of them, they were so young in the beginning as well, but when we move into Heroes of Olympus, like, they are older. Sadie turned 13 in this book. She literally just became a teenager. Like, how? I know these are middle grade. I know that these are for a young audience, but also, like, I don't know. Maybe it's my arrow-ace ass just not understanding that people actually do start getting crushes that young, but it's just like, I don't know, it felt weird. But yeah, I mean, there were scenes that made me laugh, there were scenes that made me not cry really, but like be a bit like, oh. And then there were scenes that annoyed me. Overall, it's okay, you know? So I don't really know what else to say about it. I know I said I technically wanted to finish this today. I picked up this instead. I wanted to finish it. And I'm going to go and maybe read a couple of chapters in this before going to bed. But yeah, I'm not finishing this today. I'm finishing this tomorrow. And then we'll see what I think about this one. I will be so disappointed if both of these are just meh. And then what happens with the book that will finish off a series? Hopefully that's good, because otherwise I would be so disappointed in the choices I made for this video. So, I did finally finish Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and I settled on a 3.75 star rating for this. Overall, like, chapter per chapter, I would not have rated it as highly, but in the end, sort of the way everything came together, I saw it, you know, I saw the vision and I understood certain things, but it's still like, it wasn't what I needed, I think, at the moment. It's like, I really, really wanted to love this book, and it had the potential for me to love it, like, so much, but I think I just may have read it at the wrong time, which I should have just put it down when I started reading it and realized that it might not be the best choice right now, but I didn't. So I've read it. I did enjoy aspects of it, 100%. One of the things that I especially love about this book is the friendship between two of our main characters. And I love that so much for both of them, and the way that they both start, like, coming into their own and their own power and realizing how much power they actually have and how much potential they have. But other aspects, I'm like, yeah, no, that was unnecessary, or like, I wasn't vibing with it necessarily. Yeah, overall, I still think it's a good book. It just wasn't the right time. And I hate that, because, like, it happens so often that I read a book and I was like, oh damn, if I had just been a little more in the mood for it, or it had been a little, like, a different timing, I know I could have loved the book. And yeah, so I hope that maybe when I pick up the second book, I will be more in the mood for it. And I actually love the second book. But that means that we are done with starting a series and continuing a series. And so now it was time to pick up the book that will finish off a series for me. And I picked up Her Radiant Curse by Elizabeth Lim last night, and I read like the first 50 something pages, and you can't see anything. The cover is so gorgeous, but I don't have it here right now. And it was honestly what I needed. Like, I really, really, really liked the character that this book is about in the Six Crimson Crane duology. So I was really excited when I learned that there was a little like prequel about her, and I bought it like right away before even being close to reading The Dragon's Promise, I think is the second book. And The Dragon's Promise was a little bit of a disappointment. I read that in another video, and I was so sad because I loved Six Crimson Cranes. I think I actually reread Six Crimson Cranes, and then I read The Dragon's Promise, and I was so disappointed. And then somebody said that they enjoyed her Radiant Curse a lot more though, and that really made me happy, because I think, just from what the description of the book said and the character that this is about and what we've learned about the character so far in the duology, I was like, I was so sure I would love this book, but then I was so disappointed about how the second book went for me that I was sort of scared of picking this up. And after not necessarily having loved the other two books in this video, I picked this up and I started reading it, and I was back in this story right away. I think the writing of this is beautiful, which is partially why I loved Six Crimson Cranes so much. And I cannot wait to see how this goes. I mean, we sort of know how this book will end, I guess, based on what happens in the Six Crimson Cranes duology. But we also, like, don't know for certain, like, because we don't have all of the information, right? So this is super, super exciting for me, and I cannot wait to continue. Like, I'm not that far in yet, but I needed this. Like, not having a book to like be giddy about is so sad, and like not my vibe at all. I always like being like super excited about my books, which I know I can't be excited about every single book I read, but I have been trying to sort of curate my books in a way that I know that I will be like giddy and excited about all of them. Like, it's different ways for sure, because like I'm not excited about a dark romance in the same way that I'm excited about like a middle grade like fantasy book, you know? So yeah, but like I'm excited to continue it again, which is a relief, because I would have been so sad if I would just, from the beginning of the books, I would just be disappointed in all three of them, and that would have been so sad. But right now, I am not. So I'm taking this as a good sign. It has taken forever for me to make it through this. Not because I'm not liking this, but because I have not had the time or the energy to read much the past like week-ish. Like, I started this video a week and a half ago. It was supposed to go up last Sunday. Sorry about that. I just couldn't finish it, so there was no video. I'm finishing it now. I am so close to being done, and I am enjoying myself immensely. Like, I like this book so much more than the second book in the Six Crimson Cranes duology, which is called The Dragon's Promise. And that was a disappointment. I was afraid that I wouldn't like this book, but I love it. I'm enjoying myself so much. I love like the backstory of this character, and even other things, like, it makes so much sense. I'm loving it. And yeah, I'm going to finish this now. Because I need to sit down and finish it and actually be able to enjoy it properly. And we are like, right, real close to the end. Like, we're in like basically the final showdown, I would say. So like, we know how it ends if you, like, if you've read the especially if you've read Six Crimson Cranes, you know how this ends basically. If you've read The Dragon's Promise as well, you will have already known some of what happened in here. But it's so nice to actually know. So, I just finished Her Radiant Curse and I enjoyed it. I have to say one thing. I love it when the book title is sort of mentioned one way or another in the book. I find it so clever. I don't know why, but I love it. And it happened in this book and I was like, oh, that's where it came from. But yeah, I settled on a 4.25 star rating. I think it could have been closer to a 5-star if I hadn't, like, if I wouldn't have had to read it over like the span of a whole week. I think it could have been closer to a 5-star because I just didn't get the like full experience because yeah, because I had to read it like stop and go sort of thing. I've been realizing that a lot of the times the quicker I can read a book, like if I can read it in one day, it's more likely to be a 5-star unless it's just like absolutely impossible. Like 2 days is fine as well, but like I think once I hit that like 3-4 day mark, I don't know. I'm gonna have to experiment with that a little bit. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I love the writing. It is so beautiful. And getting that backstory was absolutely amazing. And I cried at the ending. Like, I knew how the book would end, and it still destroyed me. So that's always, honestly, props to the author, because that was so good. And yeah, like little things that just like made just Six Crimson Cranes make more sense, or like parts of it. It's like, oh my god, that's why that was happening in that way. And it's like, I love that so much. I'm so sad that I didn't read it just quickly, because I think it would have been so amazing. So this video is officially over. I have finally managed to read the 3 books. Did it take me longer than I had anticipated? Yes. Am I happy? More so now, but let's quickly get into the books that I actually read. So for starting a series, I ended up reading Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and I ended up giving this 3.75 stars. I was actually slightly disappointed in this book. I didn't necessarily have expectations for it. I was just so sure that I would absolutely love it and devour it. And that wasn't the case, and I can't even pinpoint what exactly it was.
I just, yeah, didn't love it as much as I thought I would. But I am looking forward to reading the second book. So I know maybe it was the length. I don't know what it was, but the second book is definitely shorter than the first one. So we'll see how the second one goes. And then for continuing a series, I read The Throne of Fire by Rick Riordan, which is the second book in the Kane Chronicles trilogy, and this was okay. You know, I gave it 3.5 stars. Yeah, 3.5 stars. I am not loving the Kane Chronicles as much as I loved Percy Jackson. Olympians and Heroes of Olympus, loved them, adored them, devoured them. Not so much. I think it's partially due to the sibling dynamic and just... I think Rick Riordan did a better job showcasing the Greek and Roman pantheons than the Egyptian one. So that's on that. So those two books were slightly disappointing, and I was terrified of starting the third one that would finish out a series, which for me was Her Radiant Curse by Elizabeth Lim, and oh my god, am I glad that I read this. I gave this 4.25 stars. It honestly could have been higher if I didn't read in it so sporadically. I didn't have that much time, and just not the mental capacity to properly sit down and read. Otherwise, this would have probably been like a 4.75, if not a 5-star. I loved this. When I did have the time to sit down and read, I devoured the chapters. And it is such a wonderful surprise because I didn't necessarily enjoy The Dragon's Promise that much, but I loved Six Crimson Cranes, so having this and falling in love with Elizabeth Lim's writing again was absolutely incredible. It made me cry, it made me laugh, it hit all of the spots. I just couldn't read it in like 1 or 2 sittings, and so the enjoyment was tampered with a little bit. But that means that I have officially gotten another series off of my physical TBR, and I've gotten 3 books off my physical TBR. Now, I would say, yay, less books on my physical TBR, but I also added 3, so we're not gonna talk about it, but I'm at 241 now. I am gonna post a short in a couple of days probably and show you what books I got, because I am kind of excited about them, especially one of them. No, 2 of them. 2 of the 3 I'm super excited for. The other one was a sort of me trying something. But yeah, I am really, really happy about actually having gotten started and continued and finishing another series. It's just, these videos make me feel so good just about my TBR. Not necessarily because I'm reading a lot of books from it, but just because I'm actually also focusing on the series because they make up the majority of my shelves. So, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up and maybe subscribing. I would be so happy to have you here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!